Welcome back to We Are Football. We're back here again on talking about football, and today we are joined by Robert, who is part of Man City. So, Robert, if you want to let everyone know what you do with your podcast.
I'm Rob Campbell, and I'm an independent journalist and podcaster for the Mancunian Way. I used to work with Man City Fan TV, but now I just do background stuff. I'm a Manchester City fan. And I've been going to Manchester City for 32 years now as a season ticket holder. So I wasn't born in 2008 like the club was, and that's about it really.
And once again today we also have Aaron with us. So
hi everyone. Right, so let's get off. Let's kick into it.
Well, as you know, Aaron, everyone knows you're a Liverpool fan. So we want to start off with Liverpool declaring Furlough yesterday. What are your views on that? I know every other Liverpool fan is against it, but what do you think?
It depends how you look at it, really. I think it's wrong because obviously they're billionaire owners. But if you look at it from Liverpool's point of view, it makes sense. They're not getting any income in. You can't really do it to footballers because they're the players. They make your club. So if you put Mohamed Salah on furlong and he only gets 80% of his wage and you upset him, and he leaves, then I understand that everyone's important in a football club, but they're not getting any income in at the moment. They're trying to cut costs. If they've already said they'll pay the other 20%, so they're getting 80% off of their wage bill for non-playing players. It makes sense that way, but they're multi-billionaires. I think they can afford it. If you look at it kind of as a fan point of view, I think it's taking a liberty a bit. It's not treating your staff the right way. You can still afford it. It just depends how you look at it, really. I can get it. They're not getting any income in, so they need to cut costs. But it's a difficult thing to kind of, obviously no one knows how to deal with this situation. No one's been through this, so I would rather Liverpool not put the non-playing staffers on furlong, but it makes sense in the avenue of they're getting no income at the moment, and they've still got to pay for the multi-millionaire players. So I think it makes sense, but I would rather Liverpool, if you know what I mean, I'd rather Liverpool not kind of put them on furlong.
I'm going to try my absolute hardest to disagree with everything the Liverpool fan says just on principle, but I have to say there's a couple of sides to this story, yeah? So the players being asked to take a pay cut is bollocks because the taxes from the players' wages, which is the latest article I read, is about £200 million a year extra into the British economy. So if you subsidise their wages or force them to take a pay cut, then that money is not going into the tax purse, you know, for the British public, and which is spent on things like the NHS where the money's needed the most. The furlough thing, though, I think that's my club, just so you know, hasn't done it yet. But the second my club do it, which I hope they don't, I will call them equally as disgusting. But teams like Liverpool, Tottenham, and I think was it Norwich is the other one that's done it so far. I think they're absolutely disgusting. Now, Liverpool are owned by what is it? The Fenway Sports Group. Yeah. George Gillette or whatever he's called. Is that the right one, George Gillette?
I believe. Yeah.
And then you've got people like the Cronkies at Arsenal, and then you've got Daniel Levy at Tottenham. Those people, and you're saying there a minute ago, which you're partially right, they're not earning money right now through match day revenue and stuff like that. But match day revenue is peanuts compared to what they earn as an entity, as a business. They've got insurance, which has covered all of their playing staff and all of their wages. Don't you be fooled into thinking they haven't got insurance for this sort of thing, because they fucking have. They've also got money in the bank from shirt sales, from whatever video on demand services Tottenham might have or Liverpool might have. Liverpool have got a TV channel, I think, right? Liverpool TV or some shit like that. Yeah. They've got a global fan base, which I'll happily admit Liverpool have got a global fan base because they've got no fucking Scousers supporting them because they're all Evertonians. I mean, Aaron, whereabouts from Stanley Park were you born, Aaron?
Well, I've got family from Liverpool.
All right, everyone's got that excuse, yeah. So they're still drawing in money. The fact that they're furloughing their non-playing staff, to me, is absolutely disgusting, and there's just no excuse for it because you're basically asking the British taxpayer, who the tax purse at the minute is already burdened by the NHS and all of the. I mean, the furlough thing, in my opinion, was designed for small businesses. Now, I'm a small business owner myself. I won't be taking up the government's offer because I don't need to. But there are plenty of small businesses out there that after this crisis is over will be completely on their ass, and they need this money. Liverpool FC do not need this money. Tottenham Hotspurs FC do not need this money. Liverpool, Tottenham have just spent what on a new stadium? 600 million to $1 billion or something like that. Liverpool have been talking for the last 3 or 4 years about building a new stadium. So if they've got money to build a new stadium, surely they've got fucking money to pay Jeff who sells pies or fucking Alan who sells programs. You know what I mean? It's absolute fucking bullshit that they're doing this. It's just there are certain types of owner in the Premier League: the Glazers, the Cronkies, the Fenway Sports Group, and Daniel Levy, who basically rape their clubs for every single penny that they can get. Every single penny. I mean, how many times have you heard that you're going to get at Tottenham? How many times have you heard, right, we'll do this for the club, we'll do this for the club, we'll do this for the club? And at the end of the day, all it results in is you selling your best player to another club to make money. How many times have teams, I know you don't care about Arsenal, but how many times have Arsenal been 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or an entire defence short of having a team that are challenging for the title, only for them to sell their best player or buy cut price older players or anything like that? And now it's come to it, the crunch, where the world is literally on its ass and they're trying to defer and get money off the British government. That these people are multi-billionaires. The amount of money that they've got down the back of their couches, you couldn't even imagine that they've got. And yet they're still trying to rape the taxpayer for fucking money, and it's absolutely disgusting. And if my club joins in on it as well, I'll be equally disgusted at them.
What surprises me most is that it's the big teams, well, obviously not Norwich, but Spurs and Liverpool. The amount of money they have so much spare.
But that's
what
I'm saying, though. Spurs and Liverpool. How many times have you heard of Spurs and Liverpool actually fucking doing something that is pro club, pro fan? No. How many times? I mean, look at the Fenway Sports Group. They're American owners. They spend all their money on the fucking Patriots or the Red Sox or whoever the fuck it is they own over there. And then Liverpool is sort of an afterthought. But now, in the last couple of years, they've realised that Liverpool is actually, because football, let's face it, our version of football is 10 times the sport any of them fucking shambolic American shitbag sports are. Yeah, so they're starting to realise that we're worth money over here because the global audience for football is 10 times what it is for their shitty sports. But they still do nothing but take money out of the club. Look, Man United, the team that I don't really give a flying fuck about, have been at it for like 2 decades now, where they've just been siphoning money off. And they've got a £600 million debt, Man United, but their club obviously still makes them revenue, and they just take that revenue and put it in their other fucking things. And that's the same way now with this furlough thing. Are you really telling me that Liverpool Football Club, the fucking European Carabao Cup winners from last year, cannot pay their groundskeepers, cannot pay their fucking wait staff? Are you seriously thinking that they can afford to pay Jordan Henderson a contract? No, not you personally, but I mean, I'm saying, are they expecting us to believe that they genuinely can't pay their fucking staff? Are you saying, are they genuinely trying to get us to believe that they've not got money in the bank? Are they trying to get us to believe that all those people in South Africa and Australia and China buying the fucking Liverpool shirts are not still bringing money through the door of Liverpool or Tottenham or Arsenal or Norwich or any of these fucking shitty clubs? All these owners are doing is fucking looking after themselves. That's it. And the reason they're doing this is just to say fuck, because they can. That's the only reason why they're doing it, is because they can, and it's fucking disgusting.
100%. I mean, business owners are the most greediest people in the world anyways, because money makes money at the end of the day. They're always going to do what's best for them because they want more money. It's the only way that football owners think, is more money is just best for them. How can they earn more money? How can they keep their money? At the moment, they're not getting 100% revenue of what they have been recently, and as much money as they have been. So they're thinking, right, where can we cut the costs? We can't go, like for Tottenham, we can't go, to Kane, you're only going to get 80% of your wage, or we want you to take a pay cut, or things like this. They're saying you've got the option, but they're going to their non-playing staff and saying, right, you're going on furlough. So
that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you got like, I bet you any money that players like Harry Kane and Aguero and fucking whoever else and Mo Salah and whatever, they would all get together eventually and go, you know what? Because they've had that captain's meeting, haven't they? I bet you they'd say, right, still pay us our wages, But you know what? We're going to be fucking nice people and give money to this, give money to that, which they already fucking do, which never gets fucking reported anyway.
Exactly.
Every single motherfucking Premiership footballer, whether you like them or hate them, has some sort of charity attached to them where they do stuff.
Yeah.
And most of them, it's under the radar because it's not. That doesn't sell newspapers. If I told you that Harry Kane went round to an old people's home and sang them all happy birthday, it doesn't make the paper. But if Harry Kane shags a prostitute, it's in the fucking paper the next day. So all of these people who rightfully earn their wages. I know everyone thinks that football wages are fucking madness, but it's a global product, and the amount of money that it generates for countries is insane. Like football, even though it's 22 people kicking a ball around the field, generates more revenue than so many businesses put together. So they're rightfully 100%. Paid that wage. Their playing career lasts between 16, 17 and 35, yeah? And after that they've got to find a whole new life for themselves. So that money covers that period of time. And not only that, it covers all of the things that they do with their life and their charitable acts and all the rest of it. Because not every footballer can be a Sky Sports commentator after they retire. Not every footballer can be a manager after they retire. They've got to do other things. And you will find, more often than not, you will find that these footballers do good things with their money. They don't just fucking buy 50 Lamborghinis and spunk it all up the wall. They're actually reasonable people. But if the PFA and the other people forcefully take that decision away from them, then it's just going to leave bad blood. And that's when you will start getting players going, you know what? I am leaving this country now. I am going to go and play in this different league. I am going to do this other thing. Because no matter what I've done with my money, you've still cheated me like shit and you've taken the option away from me. And I don't think it's right. They should still get... They've got a contract. Imagine if you... Right, I don't know what you do for a job or if you had a job, whatever. But if you were on a job at Asda or something like that, yeah, and Asda turn around and go, right, we're only going to pay you 60% of your wages for the next 2 months because we're not getting as many customers. You just fucking walk out the job. And it's no different for them as footballers. They have signed a contract and they have got a right to get that money. And it is their right to do whatever they want for that money, simply because football is such a beast and it generates so much money and creates so many jobs as well. This is the thing that people don't think about. All of these people that we're talking about going on furlough at the minute, they're all jobs created because of football. All those families are sustained because of football. There's so many ramifications in a positive way because of football, and people forget all of that and they just go, oh, he's on 200 grand a week. What a fucking knobhead. As if it's his fault people have got coronavirus, and it's absolute fucking bullshit.
Exactly. Well, there's been, who was it? There was a player, or a couple of players, De Bruyne was one of them, I think, that come out and said they're not going to take the 30% cut. They're going to give that 30% to the NHS, which I think every footballer should go, no, we're not going to give the Premier League our 30%, or the clubs, the rich owners, the 30% of our money, which they don't need. We're going to give our 30% to the NHS, which they probably already do, as you're saying.
And how wonderful is that as well? I mean, exactly. Kevin De Bruyne is from fucking Belgium. If Kevin De Bruyne wanted, he could take all his money and help the Belgian health services out. But no, 100%. He is being... I mean, I don't even know whether it is him, and it could be any footballer from anywhere in the world. But the point is, all we ever heard about footballers is, oh, another foreigner coming for money. Why aren't we getting British players? Blah, blah, blah. But these people have taken to the country that much that they're they're coming out and saying, we will give our wages to help the NHS. And yet there are still people out there who treat them like shit. And it's fucking, I hate it.
It's another Belgian, but Alderweireld, the last week, he's bought hundreds and hundreds of tablets and he's been taking them to old people that are affected by the coronavirus so they can still FaceTime their families. And he doesn't need to do that, but that's what he's putting his money into because he said he wanted to help out. He was on I think it was TalkSport the other day talking about why he did it. And he said him and his family spoke about it. He said he has too much money to keep, so he wants to give back, especially in tough times like this. But you look at that wasn't mentioned that much.
Exactly. But you don't see that I've not seen that article on the BBC or anywhere else.
There's someone Joe Cole has created a charity and raised over like £300,000 or something. He bought 50 3D printers for medical visors for the front line of the NHS, sent food directly to hospital staff, providing childcare to the NHS staff, and offering therapy as well. I mean, the fact that, like, obviously this is Joe Cole and his wife, raising over £300,000 and offering all this like fantastic stuff to the NHS. I mean, this is, as you said, I've seen one article on this. I haven't seen it anywhere.
What surprised me most as well, especially with Liverpool and Spurs, what they've done this week, is you look at Gary Neville. Gary Neville earns nowhere near as much as what the owners of Spurs and Liverpool do. But his main avenue of money at the moment, him and Ryan Giggs, is the Manchester Football Hotel, what he's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
in Manchester at the moment, and he's let any NHS staff they want to stay there for free during this whole time.
Yeah.
Well, Manchester City last 2 hours have come out and said that they'll not be placing any non-playing staff on furlough and refuse to take government money, which is.
But then again, right? We are in a as a Manchester City fan and as Manchester City, they are in a fortunate position where there isn't. I mean, 50 European countries could get together and not have the same amount of money that City's owners have, yeah. But I still think that is a noble gesture. That I genuinely do. And like I said, I would have slagged them off to fuck, even though it's my own club, if they would have come out and said we're going on this furlough thing. So I'm glad they've not, and I'm glad they've made the statement that they're not. But when you look at players like you're saying there, former players like Joe Cole raising money. Now, he's been put into a fortunate position by having a good footballing career. And he's doing something good with it. But I can't believe that the PFA of all organisations, the people that are supposed to look after the players themselves, are the ones talking about them taking pay cuts. It's absolutely ridiculous. And there's people in the last couple of days that I never thought I'd ever find myself agreeing with. Jamie Carragher, Stan Collymore, Wayne Rooney, all coming out saying that footballers are scapegoats. And it's 100% true. Footballers are being made scapegoats for this whole thing. As if it's the responsibility of people who play football to pay for all of the country's needs. It's ridiculous, and it's not as if they don't already. Like I said, with taxes, all the taxes that the footballers get. Because don't forget, like, if you're on a 300 grand a week contract, you don't get to keep 300 grand.
You're in your tax.
Exactly. So the amount of money that footballers put back into the economy because of their taxes and put back into things like the NHS is already magnificent. So I don't understand why these articles are being written and where these people are coming out and saying, "Oh, footballers this, footballers that." They just don't understand. One, they don't understand the economics, and two, they don't understand how much football actually does for the British economy.
What I don't get either is how Liverpool come out this week and still done it after the backlash Spurs got. When Daniel Levy come out and said it, all the bad press that he got, the fans turned in as well.
Because this is a different thing, innit? This is the owners. Like I keep saying, the owners do not give a fuck. I mean, as a Spurs fan, have you ever thought that Daniel Levy cares about you? As a Liverpool fan, have you ever thought that fucking not the Glazers, the fucking Gillette cared about you? Have you ever felt like, as a fan of your club, you're cared for by your owners?
Our actual owner doesn't even ever turn up. It's Joe Lewis. Never see him. It's just Levy doing whatever Joe Lewis tells him to do.
Putting money in the club. They've got a new recruitment team. We're actually coming out, and I think they lowered the tickets by like 10% one season, and then all of a sudden this kind of, at the end of the day, they prove again that football to them is a business. It's not a sport. It's not a fans sport. They don't care about the fans. It's a business for them. They saw, as you said, sorry, Tommy. They said Liverpool were gonna they focus on Red Sox mainly. And then they realised Liverpool can make them 10 times much more money. So they've decided to put all the money in, and then they obviously reap the rewards of winning the trophies like Champions League. They've probably got 10 times the amount of what they put in. So at the end of the day, they just showed again that it is a business. And this is the only way that they're going to make cut their losses and get back some of the money that they had before. So it's as I say, it's ridiculous. I can't. As a Liverpool fan, this
thing, right? The amount of let's say that Liverpool have got 300 non-playing staff, yeah, and let's say that the higher up one of those, maybe a club physio or something like that, who's from 50 grand, 70 grand a year. That's not an unreasonable number. And then let's say that the lowest end of that is the fucking caterer, who's on 15 grand a year.
Yeah.
We've been at this fucking coronavirus thing now since let's say February. So that's 3 months for 300 staff. Let's say it's about £1 million. £1 million so far Liverpool have spent while technically not earning money from matchday revenue. Yeah. It's fucking nothing. Yeah, but it's nothing.
You think of Liverpool and Spurs, and Norwich, they are Premier League clubs. Because I saw this week about Wimbledon. Wimbledon have had to put their whole playing squad as well on furlough, but they don't get nowhere near. They're just placed on furlough, so they have a temporary leave of absence. Some of them are not even paid. They remain on their payroll, so at least they have their job when this is over. But you look at Liverpool and Spurs, they're taking the money that the Football League clubs could use this so much.
I understand way more for anyone that's in League One, League Two, the National Conference, even the Championship. Because in the last 18 months, we've had Bolton nearly go into administration, go out of business. We've had Bury, who have gone out of business, who are football clubs that have been around for 100 years or more, that can't survive even in a regular football climate. So I completely understand those sorts of clubs that basically live hand to mouth and day to day, taking help from the government, because they are not powerhouses like the Premier League teams are. Now, even Norwich to a certain extent, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're the other club that's done this furlough thing, right? Norwich. Now, even them to a certain extent, I understand slightly, because they're operating on the bones of their arse to be in the Premier League, right? Every club that gets promoted into the Premier League is basically on the bones of their arse until they establish themselves. I mean, Bournemouth have been in the Premier League for, 5 years now or something like that? They're still on the bones of their arse. They're still fucking dead. They're still hand to mouth, right? So I understand more so with a club like Norwich. But clubs like Tottenham and Liverpool and anyone else that does this, that's like, let's say Chelsea, City, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, who else? Leicester, maybe, to a lesser extent. Everton, if any of those, Everton, if any of those fucking clubs, even someone like Aston Villa, for fuck's sake, if any of those clubs, to me, turn around and done this, which obviously so far two of them have, Liverpool and Tottenham, then I think it's an absolute disgrace, because all of that money and all of these government grants and all the rest of it that are going to come into place in June and July are literally for cafes on the way to the ground, or little businesses, or smaller ventures. Liverpool is a multi-billion-pound business. Same with Tottenham. They should not be taking advantage of the government's money, and I really think that the government should say no. I really think the government should turn around and say no. You deal with it. So they're still selling LFC mugs and little Jurgen Klopp bobbleheads to people.
Exactly. Online, they're still probably making maybe 80% of what they were before of merchandise, so they're still getting a big fair chunk of their money through. And then it's just, I don't know what their situation is in baseball. I don't know if they've cancelled any baseball games in America.
Yeah. So all of it's been scrapped. Fair enough. I used to live in Boston years and years ago, believe it or not, and their stadium is in Fenway Park, is in the centre of the city of Boston. So all of those major cities are all on lockdown. So there's no major sports happening or anything like that. I know that there's one still going ahead, which is strange. I know this is going way off topic, but the WWE or something is still having WrestleMania or something like that. I don't know.
There's no fans. There's no fans in the stadiums.
But everything else is on lockdown the same way as things are on lockdown over here. I'll give you. I know this is. Sorry,
Belarus is top division. I see everyone talking about that. It's the only place to go.
Yeah, have you got a team in Belarus yet?
I saw someone's tweet about it. Everyone's choosing a different side.
Yeah. Thing about Manchester City's owners, by the way, because I've got to defend my club because we're always being slated by everybody in the media. But in 2008, when the global financial collapse happened, I know you two were a lot younger then, but do you know about it, or have you heard about it at least, when the global economy collapsed in 2008?
Yeah, I heard about it.
The city of Manchester had invested £3 billion into building new skyscrapers to bring businesses to the city. And when the financial collapse happened, all of that money went missing. The government needed it back, or all of the loans went through and everything like that. And Manchester City's owners basically said, right, to Manchester City Council, they said, there's the £3 billion, pay it back when you can, an interest-free loan. They basically saved the city of Manchester. And this is true. This is not, I'm not making it up. It's not a joke or anything like that. They basically said, there's the $3 billion that you need to carry on building the skyscrapers. And since then, obviously, Manchester's become a prosperous city, and it's fine financially. But in 2008, when the global economy collapsed, Manchester was fucked. But now it's doing all right. And so that's a little bit of background as to why Manchester City, for example, perhaps won't be doing this furlough thing that other clubs are doing, because the owners, you can talk about human rights abuses in Dubai and all of these things that I had no idea what actually goes on over there. But the way they conduct business, they seem to have a little bit more foresight about what's going on. Like, for example, if I said to you, right, invest a little bit of money now, and in 10 years' time, you'll be able to make 10 times the amount of money because you put that, that seed money. Yeah. You invested a little bit. And that's what they think like. Because when they bought Man City, I know we're slated for having no fans, but you know we were in Division 2 with 33,000 fans. Leeds United go to Division 1 and fucking only have 10,000 fans. All these other massive clubs, Middlesbrough. You see this Sunderland the Sunderland documentary. You might have seen it.
Yeah, I watched it.
There's a guy standing there going, "We're Sunderland, so we die. We fucking love Sunderland." And you look behind him, and there's fucking 25,000 empty seats. So all their fans fucked off the second they got relegated. But I swear on my life that my team, when we got relegated, we built new fucking stands. We were bringing more fans in when we were fucking shit than when we were good. Yeah. So the City owners, when they bought us in 2008, we were a small club. We were a club with a bit of history from the 60s and the 70s. And way back before that in the 1930s, we had a fucking couple of trophies. But we were a small club. But they saw us as a fucking opportunity and they grew us. And now we're technically a global club now, right? But that's the sort of people that we've got owning us. They're not in it for... When you look at some of the other owners in football, they're trying to make a quick buck, you know what I mean? They're trying to make money there and then. But the City owners seem to be like, they're more patient and they're playing the long game. So that's personally why I think that City have come out and said, right, we're not going to do this furlough thing. Can I add one more thing to this, by the way, about the I'm sorry to Alan, I don't know you, lad, and I'm not an evil dickhead. I don't hate you personally. I just hate your club. But there's people in Liverpool have been setting 5G telephone masts on fire because somebody told them that that's where you get coronavirus from. So I just want you to understand the mentality of Liverpool fans. Yeah, that's all. I love football. I've always loved football. I've been watching football for 30. You know, I'm 36 now, and I've been going to football since I was like 3-4 years old. Yeah, I love football. And I know that football is stupid, and I know it's just a fucking game where people kick a fucking ball around a park. I know that, but football's something in your soul, isn't it?
It's just that it's the joy of watching your team play. Like when your team wins, there's no other better feeling.
Well, it's the opposite for a City fan. There's no better joy than when City lose, to be honest, because we don't like winning. City fans don't. All the glory hunters love winning. All the new fans that we've got at City, they love winning. But like old school City fans, we don't care. We don't care whether we win or not. But I just miss being able to go out with my mates and have a few beers and go to the match. And I fucking hate the Champions League, by the way. I hate it. I think it's the most overblown competition ever. But
is that because you haven't won it?
No, we have won it. We won the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1970. So learn your history. Learn your history, Liverpool fan.
We've won it as well.
Cup. That's where
right, but the point is the European Cup Winners' Cup was the Champions League before there was the Champions League. It's not our fault. I mean, we would have won the Champions League in the mid-80s if you wouldn't have murdered all those people in Heysel, and got all English team banned from European football. I'm just throwing it out there, Liverpool fan. You know, I'm just saying.
And Spurs are the first ever English club to win the European Cup.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. But the point is, European football is massively overrated. How many European teams would be in the top 6 of the English league? How many? Maybe Real Madrid, maybe Barcelona, maybe Bayern Munich. If I'm fucking being kind, maybe Bayern Munich.
Definitely not any team in the French league. And then maybe at a push Juventus would try, but that's it.
So there's 4 teams in the whole of Europe that maybe could get in the top 6 of the Premier League.
Although if you go off this season, Atletico Madrid are going to win the league.
And you're trying to tell me that that's the pinnacle of football. It clearly isn't. The pinnacle of football is the English Premier League.
Playing the game behind the rest of the games behind closed doors in the Midlands.
And let's be honest, if anyone can bottle a 25-point lead, it's Liverpool. If anyone can bottle that lead, it's Liverpool. It's not over yet.
There's no way they can play all the games by the end of June. I just don't see it possible.
Yeah, no. It's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen now. We've got one more week of this, because if you remember, two and a bit weeks ago, Boris came on TV and went, right, we're under lockdown now for 3 weeks and we'll review it. In 3 weeks, we'll review it. That's going to get extended till at least the end of, what are we in now, March? So April. I reckon the end of May is when they'll fucking review it again, to be honest. I reckon it's going to be another 6 weeks at least under lockdown, yeah?
Yeah.
The football, how many games have we played in how many games have we played in the Premier League now? Is it 22 or something like that?
No, we're in 30, I think.
Are we
You've got
30?
8 games left. Yeah.
Right, eight games left, yeah?
Yeah.
So, and you've still got the FA Cup and the Champions League. Now, that'll take us to what, the end of July?
Yep.
And in August. But then again, when's that Qatar World Cup? Is that 2022?
Yeah, so it's right. So you got
January. Or was it November?
Yeah, no, just November, December.
So what they might do is they might start staggering it, because if let's say that they don't start the league, let's say that they do end the league now, yeah.
Yep.
So end of May they start playing games again. So June, July, and then they don't start the league in August. They start it in like end of September, and then the next season after that they start it in November. So then by the time the Qatar World Cup comes around, you're automatically in December, and you can have the World Cup, and then it won't affect football. So that might work in their favour, but
the only problem they have as well, they've got the Euros is now pushed back to next summer, so then you can't really go further on.
You care about your Euros. That's the one competition
I don't care.
But actually, before you were born, there used to be this thing called it was like basically England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales used to play in this cup. This ended in about 1989 or something like that, but it was basically like a miniature Euros, but just with the British nations. Yeah. I cared about that trophy, fucking not much at all. Yeah, I cared about the Euros slightly more than that. Even though, I mean, Scotland. I'm Scottish by the way. I'm not English, but we haven't got a chance of winning the fucking wooden spoon with that bad. Yeah, but I don't care about international football.
You've got good youth players coming through for the first time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great. Amazing. And Andy Robertson apparently is the best footballer. Robertson is apparently the best footballer since Messi. All this bullshit, but we're still Scottish and we're still shit at football. It's fine. We can live with it. We don't care. But if the Euros got cancelled, are you going to lose much sleep?
No.
Oh, I would. International football. I love international football. I love watching England play. I love the Euros, the World Cup. I love going down the pub in the summer, in the beer garden, watching the football. I like this.
Yeah, but you're English, so you have a chance of winning something, sort of. I mean, all right, you have a chance of a quarter-final, maybe a semi-final.
I don't know about you, but the tournaments, when you get to a tournament like the Euros or the World Cup, right, then I'm interested. But the worst part of the football season...
we haven't been to one since 2000, so...
But the worst part for me for a football season is when you get that international break during the Premier League season. I can't stand it. I hate it.
Oh yeah,
it's the worst 2 weeks.
100%, because you're only really watching.
That just shows I'm right then, because you're clearly prioritising domestic football over international football.
Oh, 100%. I'd rather Spurs win the Champions League than England win the World Cup.
I ask you as a Liverpool fan, by the way.
Yeah.
You've been absolutely blowing the Premier League away this season. The Premier League, you've absolutely smashed it. Absolutely smashed the fuck out of the Premier League this season, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
If they did resume the Premier League now, at the end of May, and then you got to play those last 8 games, would it feel like less of an accomplishment or less of a trophy, or is it lesser in any way, or is it not as good in any way because there's been all this shit in between? Because I mean, the last 4 seasons, people have been saying give Liverpool the trophy in fucking December, yeah, and then you've ended up losing it. But this season, there really is not a chance of any club coming. I mean, you could add our fucking points up with Tottenham's points, and still only be like fucking 2 points behind you. You've absolutely smashed it. You know what I mean? You've smashed the league. Yeah. So with this massive break in between, is it gonna like make it less of an achievement, or?
I don't think it makes it less of an achievement or less of a trophy. It just kind of puts a damper on. We're two games away from winning it, and now we're having to wait. What's it been like, a month or 2 now? We're having to wait for that. I think it will make it more of a celebration because we're having to wait even longer now. We know it's coming. It's 2 games away. If we get to play them 2 games and they go right, yep, it's kicking off in, let's say, 5th of June. The season will start again. We've had to wait since February, middle of February to we've known that we were going to win the league in 2 games time, something like that, beginning of March. We're having to now wait that little bit longer for that inevitability, and then you're getting kind of frustrated. You're like, when's it going to start again? You're looking at things saying, oh, the season's going to get voided, you're not going to win the league, and you're like, oh shit. And then you see another thing saying, oh, Liverpool just going to get given the Premier League, and you're like, well, don't really want that.
Well, the worst case scenario for the City fan, because if this was the regular Premier League schedule now, I think you had one game and then you were coming to the Etihad. I think the second game from now would have been coming to play us.
Yeah.
And if you would have beat us at the Etihad, then we would have had to give you a fucking guard of honour and present you with a trophy and all this other bullshit. So I'm kind of all right that the season's fucked off, to be honest, because I wouldn't want that happening in a million years, especially Liverpool.
I need the season to go void so we get Champions League football at the moment, but...
Well, I want the fucking Champions League to start up again because we're going to fucking batter Real Madrid in that second leg. Liverpool have been saying since 1990 this is our year. But as a City fan, I will finally declare that this year is our year for the Champions League. There is no way we ain't fucking winning the Champions League this year. Every other team that's left in it is fucking Sunday League. We smashed the Champions League this year. We battered Real Madrid, showing them up for being a fucking shit. If that Real Madrid team now were in the Premier League, they'd be fucking mid-table. Fucking shocking.
I'll tell you what, that game against Real Madrid is when I gave a lot of more respect to Man City. Man City always go out there and attack, but the first half, the way you just defended, Real Madrid had no answer. They couldn't do anything. In the second half, it was literally just swap the game around and then just go at them. And Real Madrid are not the same team they were.
That game showed, if you're debating who's better between Mourinho and Pep Guardiola, why Pep Guardiola is always going to be on top. Because the way he went out there tactically, the fucking Jesus was playing left back most of the game, but the way that he then broke forward and it was just tactically, Pep Guardiola. There's no one near Pep Guardiola.
Zidane had no answer, and Zidane's won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, and he literally couldn't do anything.
Right, so can we understand now that the Champions League's not a bigger trophy as people make it out to be?
I agree, it's not, but like the Premier League is what you want to win. But I think it's just the Champions League. Like as a fan, when I go to Spurs Stadium, when the Champions League anthem comes on, like it just gets you hyped for a European nights midweek.
We've got like 50,000 people booing it at my stadium.
I'm so surprised you got 50,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah. We've still got more fans than you. Even when your stadium's full and our stadium's half empty, there's still more City fans at our stadium. So don't even start, Spurs fan. Fuck, you know. Your full stadium. Oh yeah, but even selling out, we've still got more fans than you. Even when you sold out. Can I just ask you, by the way, why do you think we booed the Champions League anthem?
Because they're giving you a ban.
Yeah.
No. We booed the Champions League anthem, right? Because we played a Portuguese team. It might have been Benfica about 5 years ago, yeah?
Yeah.
And we were 30 seconds late onto the pitch for the second half of the game.
Yeah.
And they fined us €200,000. And then in the same season, we played against, I think, Shakhtar or someone like that, or Zenit or something, some Russian club. Or it was either Ukrainian or Russian club. And their fans threw bananas at Yaya Toure and Mario Balotelli and made monkey chants throughout the entire game. And they fined them €15,000. So UEFA were basically saying that being late for a second half of a game is worse than racism. That's why we fucking booed the Champions League anthem.
Just Spurs got fined this season for being late for the Champions League.
You can't hate City now. Now you know the truth. You can't hate City, can you? Now you know the truth.
I've never not liked City, to be fair. It's just one of them where it's like with Chelsea, you were both mid-table, and then obviously the money's the reason why you're both up there now.
See, look, you're saying we're mid-table. 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, Manchester City were in the top 4 of the Premier League.
None of the top 6 can argue, though, that Spurs are the only team in the top 6 that have actually worked there. We've not had no cash injection.
What I'm saying is, in 1990, 1991, 1992, and 1993, 1994, Manchester City were a top 4 team. Yeah? It was only when Peter Swales left, our chairman, and we got fucking Franny Lee as a chairman, and he started spunking money on champagne instead of players, we got relegated. But before that, we were always one of the biggest clubs. Chelsea didn't even exist in the fucking 80s. Do you know what Chelsea's average attendance was in the 80s? Fucking 10,000. They're the plastic club. Don't come after Man City and say City are a plastic club. Chelsea have got no fucking fans and never did have fucking fans. You look up the average attendance of Chelsea in the 80s, it was fucking 10, 15,000. They are a fucking plastic made-up club.
How are they building a new stadium as well? They can't even fill the Stamford Bridge at the moment. I don't understand how they're looking at building a 55,000-seater stadium when literally they've just come from nothing.
And do you know why we don't fill our seats? Do you want the honest reason why we don't fill our seats?
Yeah.
Right? Manchester City, and if you've ever been to a Liverpool game or you've ever been to a Tottenham game against Manchester City, we fill your fucking away end.
Yeah.
Very, very few clubs fill away ends. Manchester City, no matter what the game, whether it's at fucking Oxford, Southend United, or fucking against fucking Accrington Stanley, we fill the away end of every ground we go to. Manchester City, yeah. When teams come to us, you have got 4,000 seats as an away section in the bottom tier before they built the redevelopment, and now you've got the top tier in the redevelopment. Yeah, you've got 4,500 seats as away fans. No fucking club, apart from Tottenham, did it in the Champions League. Liverpool did it in the Champions League, but in the league, nobody fills their fucking away allocation. And when you don't fill your away allocation, that third tier, which is supposed to be for away fans, gets resold to home fans, and that's where they all relocate because those tickets are between £5 and £15, whereas a ticket in the rest of the ground is £30 and above. Yeah, so it's because away fans don't fucking turn up to the Etihad that those seats become available. So it's fucking, you might say City's half empty, blah, 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 all the rest of that bullshit. But if away fans don't turn up, then those tickets go on sale to home fans. And naturally, they're going to go there because it's a fucking way cheaper ticket than sitting in the main stand.
I've been to Anfield.
Yeah. I've been to Candlefield for about the last 20 years. And it's called Clanfield or Candlefield, not Anfield.
So you've been to Anfield the game, and you've obviously watched Anfield, like a Liverpool game at Anfield live on TV. Does it not feel to you that on TV something is turned up because they do not sound like that in the ground?
BT Sport are the worst at it. I've got fucking video evidence of this shit. Yeah, when we went to Anfield, when they were singing their fucking "You'll Never Work Again" song, yeah, I'm filming it and it's quiet as fuck. And then I've got BT Sport, I recorded it as well. And when I got home, it's the fucking loudest thing you've ever heard in your world. I swear they're playing the fucking CD.
Yeah, I went to Anfield.
Liverpool's atmosphere is a fucking myth. Absolute.
They just go quiet. It just goes quiet. They get a roared like for 5 minutes. They get all a bit on the edge of their seat, and then literally they go quiet. And yet on TV they're always loud and it's always like it's so intimidating, but it's not.
It's a fucking myth. It's a CD. I swear to God, it's a CD. It's a fucking myth.
There's a reason why managers, though, say that Anfield is the most intimidating ground to go to.
Yeah, because you smash the fucking team buses up on the way in. Because you have to go past fucking Stanley Park where all the scroats and fucking skagheads live. Yeah, if you smash someone's bus up, when the City team got off that bus in the Champions League a couple of years ago. Have you ever seen the film Saving Private Ryan, where they're all getting fucking shot up on the beach? That's what the City team looked like when they got off that coach.
Made up atmosphere.
Disgusting, because they're disgusting fucking Scousers.
It's just like being at the Emirates.
Shut up, Tommy. It's
just a glorified Emirates. That's all.
That's a fucking made up ground. Emirates is fucking. Arsenal are fucking massively made up.
They just sit there. They're eating their popcorn and whatever they're doing.
With their £1,000 season tickets. Fucking. You know how much? Can I just ask? Have you two got season tickets for your clubs?
No, I got
no.
You know
waiting
how much
list for Spurs is like 50,000.
Shut up, the waiting list for Spurs. There's no fucking way. I can get a Spurs ticket if I wanted tomorrow.
I can get a ticket. I can't get a season ticket though. I get tickets for every game. I've got my membership. Got a plus membership, so I get tickets to every game, but I can't get a season ticket. It's just impossible.
Have a guess how much my season ticket costs?
300 quid.
No, the lowest in the league is West Ham. That's 350. So I'm saying Man City's 450, 500.
My season ticket last season was £335. And I got to see City win the domestic treble. Premier League to end in the following way, yeah? Liverpool to be disqualified. United, Arsenal and Chelsea to get relegated.
Oh, I'm 100% up for that. I'm not complaining at all.
I'd rather it get finished as Liverpool get the Premier League title. Well, we're allowed to play the last 2 games behind closed doors. Liverpool win the Premier League title. We lift the trophy, and then 22 teams.
If it was behind closed doors, you'd be able to play that CD of atmosphere music again, wouldn't you? So.
Yeah, but also, surely as a Liverpool fan, you don't want to win it behind closed doors. Imagine waiting this long. Like Liverpool have been waiting years to win this Premier League trophy, and they're going to lift it in an empty stadium.
Yeah,
you're going to lift it in an empty stadium.
We'll let players in. We'll let fans in, rather.
No, you can't though, because even if they start the league, there's no way they're letting the stadiums be filled. Talking earlier about players that steal a living. Kepa costs £72 million.
Yeah.
He's literally
How he costs
not
more
even
than
Chelsea's
Alisson?
best keeper. He's not even Chelsea's best keeper.
Yeah, but there's loads of keepers that do that. I mean, I think Alisson. I personally think that Alisson. He's not as good as Edison. Nowhere near as good as Edison. Nowhere fucking near as good as Edison.
Well, there's a reason why he's Brazil's number one. I think Addison is.
Can you seriously say that he's better than Edison?
I think he's much better than it. I don't think he's much better than Edison. I think they're both like world-class keepers, but I think Addison is probably better because there's a reason why he starts for Brazil as well.
I've said for a long time that Edison.
Is this the same Brazil that lost fucking 8-0 to Germany or whatever? Brazil are a myth. It was a myth. Brazil are a myth.
Yep.
Edison is a better keeper than Alisson, I swear to you. Leno at Arsenal, he's another keeper that steals a living.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I think De Gea's been found out finally. You know what De Gea's like to me at United? Do you remember when Joe Hart was really fucking good? Now, you might not remember, but in 2014, we got to the Champions League semi-final, even though all the press say that we never got to the Champions League semi-final. And Joe Hart was in net. And Joe Hart we played against Real Madrid, yeah? And Joe Hart fucking saved about 900 shots in that game and kept it to 0-0. Joe Hart was world class at one point. And now Joe Hart, you know, if you had one-on-one against Joe Hart, you shoot him bottom left corner because you know that he can't save anything on his left-hand side.
Oh, that Euro 2016 was the...
Oh.
I remember saying that if he's going bottom left corner, he's going in. Bale's free kick, literally, against Wales, bottom left corner. He could not get there. He knows where it's going as well, and he still couldn't get there.
Yeah. Joe Hart can't save anything on his left, so we got found out. And I think it's the same for David De Gea. Now, how many years with David De Gea, everyone was like... Now, I agreed for a little bit. There was 2 seasons there when if David De Gea wasn't in net for United, they could have got relegated. They easily could have got relegated because they were fucking shocking. But I think David De Gea, he's now stealing a living. There was a time when David De Gea might have been one of the best keepers in the world, but I think he's fucking stealing a living now as well.
He won't be Man United's number one next season. Dean Henderson's better than him miles.
Well, Man United, the funny thing is United, yeah, they've now got to spend at least another 200-300 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be a top 4 team, they've got to spend another 200-300 million.
Our biggest problem is watching... I don't know if you watched Harry Kane's Instagram live video with Jamie Redknapp, but he said he'll stay for the moment. But as soon as Spurs aren't competing at the level he wants, then he's out. He's out.
I don't think Harry Kane will stay in. I don't think he'll stay in England. Harry Kane could quite easily go to Real Madrid and earn 300 grand a week.
The only good thing is Harry Kane will cost at least 150 million.
There's only maybe two teams in England that I can see Harry Kane going to, and that's Man United or Man City.
Yep.
Only 2. And for City, I think that will probably be, now that Aguero's 30, 31, that will probably be your best option to replace him, I think, at the moment. Because I don't think there's many good young strikers, maybe Harry Kane and Martinez, that are at the level of scoring 20-plus goals a season in
maybe
there.
Haaland.
Yeah, maybe Haaland, but he's just joined.
He has a release clause of 50 million.
Does it? Oh, I didn't know that. Fair play. Or maybe Haaland. I think there's 3 strikers at the moment that you could probably get and replace Aguero and replace him straight away then. And that's Lautaro Martinez, Harry Kane, and maybe Haaland. He's only 19, so we'll see if and he's had a good start to Dortmund, but how many players have we seen?
Do you not think you're thinking the wrong way? Like Harry Kane is a really, really, really fucking good striker for Tottenham. Fine. Yeah. Sergio Aguero, in my opinion, is a different level. Nobody comes close to Aguero.
It's the way they play, though, up front. Because Aguero will finish every time. So he stays on the last man. No one plays on the last man better than Sergio Aguero. Anything he will put in the back of the net. Harry Kane's more, he will bring other players into the game.
Now, the one player you're forgetting about at City, we've got Gabriel Jesus. Now, if Gabriel Jesus was at any other Premier League club...
I like him a lot.
If he was at any other Premier League club, he'd be playing 38 games a season. And he'd be getting you 25 goals.
The only problem, I think, with Gabriel Jesus is he needs 2 or 3 chances to finish. I don't see him as a...
Yeah, but he's a kid still. He's still a kid. He's 20 now. He's 20 years old. Yes, he needs 2 or 3 chances to finish now. But in 5 years... I mean, Aguero... When we signed Aguero from Atletico for peanuts, by the way. I know everyone says we fucking spunk money everywhere, but he was peanuts.
27 million.
Yeah.
I thought it was 35 euros, wasn't it? So it's like
27. Yeah. It's like 30, about £30 million around, approximately. Yeah. But that guy has turned into a fucking machine. Gabby Jesus, I reckon Gabby Jesus is 20, 21 years old now at the most, yeah?
Yeah.
And when he's 25, 26, he'll be ridiculous. Now, the only other player that I see City going for, if we lose Leroy Sané, which I hope we don't, because I really think that Sané's another fucking...
Sané. Yeah.
Jesus was 23 2 days ago.
That's 23 years old, right? So let's say that in 2 years' time, Gabby Jesus starts banging him in like Aguero does. Because he's nowhere near peak. 23 years old. He's still 5 years from peak.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah.
If we lose Sané for 100 million or whatever, I cannot see City doing anything other than spunking fucking 200 million pound on Mbappe. I know you're saying that Harry Kane might go to City or United. I think if Harry Kane does leave Tottenham, it can't be United because United are not a serious top 4 team anymore. They're not.
No, he wants to win the league. He literally says that's the thing he wants to do. He says,
but who's trophies. The only team that Harry Kane could win the league with is Liverpool. I don't think Harry Kane would work in the City team, and I also now don't think that
he won't go to Liverpool because Liverpool want Werner. So
well, exactly. So Liverpool have got Salah, Mane, and Firmino right now. Yeah. One of them potentially is going to leave, aren't they, for Barca or Real or something, right?
Yeah. Most likely Salah. You think?
It just depends whether they want to leave.
You cannot replace Mo Salah with Jamie Vardy, with fucking Harry Kane. You can't.
No.
Thing is, Spurs fans are worried. My biggest worry is, and at the moment we're getting away with it because no one's looking at him, but our best player is Son.
Yeah. Well,
and everyone forgets about him. And Son is...
No. Trust me, they don't, because he's the one player that, as a City fan, every single time we play against Tottenham or we see Tottenham play, the one player we're like, because there's maybe 5 or 6 players in that Tottenham team that are really, really good. But the one player every single time that we always say he'd fit right in the City team is Son. Son is fucking... to me, Son is miles ahead of Eriksen, Ali, fucking any of those players.
Well, Liverpool have been sniffing around him for a while, apparently. But...
Yeah, well, we tried to get him when he was at Leverkusen, but they wanted like 50 million when we was looking, and then he wanted to leave, and that's why you got him for like 20 odd mil, 30 mil.
That's what I'm saying. You look at bargains for Aguero. Obviously, Aguero was a bargain at 30 million, but Son for 20 million as well.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, look at other players. I mean, I don't know what you personally think about David Silva. To me, David Silva is the best player I've ever seen play football.
He's the greatest, a creative player to grace the Premier League, David Silva, I think.
But he was peanuts. He cost fuck all. We got him from fucking Gran Canaria or some fucking shitbag team like that. Valencia. Yeah. It was peanuts.
I remember when Valencia had David Silva, David Villa, and Juan Mata.
Yeah.
And they've all gone on to be fair, not so much Juan Mata, he kind of ruined it. Mourinho ruined him at Chelsea. But Villa went on to become one of Spain's greatest ever forwards. David Silva's become one of the greatest creative players in Premier League history. I mean, I can't really think of a true number 10 that's had the longevity of David Silva and been as good as David Silva.
You're right when you say you think of players that have maybe been better over a season than Silva.
Yeah.
But nobody's come close to the longevity. Nobody's come close. I mean, because you could quite easily say someone like Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard had some good seasons at Chelsea, but Eden Hazard didn't do it for fucking 10 years.
He had 5 years, 6 years at Chelsea. Eden Hazard. He was okay for the first 2. He was good for but it was world class for the last 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Other than that, he was a good player.
Yeah, but he even said himself. The thing with Hazard is when he's on his game, Hazard is unplayable. Like, you can't touch him. But he even said himself, he can't put a string of 3 or 4 games like it. He has one good game, then he'll go missing.
You look at the season they finished, 10th? That Eden Hazard scored 2 goals and got 3 assists.
Yeah, we'll forget about one of the goals he scored. Let's move on.
Wasn't it 2 of the goals though that he scored?
No, he scored 1 top corner. He come off the bench, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but he's Eden Hazard is a good player. I mean, he's got found out at Real Madrid. Obviously, injuries haven't helped, and him getting fat over the summer didn't help. But he's got found out that he's not a superstar and the Ronaldo replacement.
Well, that's exactly the thing, right? Okay, the last World Cup that it was, Belgium went into that team if it was a game of FIFA with the Ultimate Team, if you went into that tournament with that Belgian team, you'd smash it. Yeah, because they're all. That Belgian team was disgusting in that last World Cup. How many fucking great players there were. Now Ronaldo, for a couple of years at Portugal, was almost winning tournaments on his fucking Billy Bobs. Yeah,
Euros he won it by himself.
Right, on his own. If Ronaldo was Belgian, they would have won fucking the last 3 World Cups. So that's what really separates them.
Yeah.
Because Hazard, yes, on his day, on that one game or 38 games in a season, let's say for fucking 8 of them or 10 of them, he's world class. Whereas Ronaldo is just consistently better. And that's why Hazard will never be, ever be anywhere near the Ronaldo level. And like you say, he got found out at Real Madrid. But that Belgian team should have smashed that tournament for fun.
100%. They didn't really get anyone who... They all looked to Eden Hazard to grab the Belgian team because he got made captain as well. There's no way Eden Hazard should be captain. He got made captain because he's the best,
not when you've got fucking De Bruyne and fucking Company and all these other players in there.
Exactly, but they all looked to Hazard to grab the thing, like the tournament by the balls and run with it. But he went missing at that World Cup as well, or the Euros as well. So he's not the superstar kind of footballer that everyone thought he was at Chelsea. He had a good last season and a half, 2 seasons, where he was maybe that second planet of great players. Messi and Ronaldo are on their own planet, but he was on that second kind of wavelength of the best players in the world. And then, as I say, many footballers get up there, and then all of a sudden drop back down to the next planet and the next wavelength of players. So there's been many players that have got up to that second stage of players and then fade away, which is why I haven't put all my hopes in Haaland. I can see Haaland become one of the best players strikers in the world. He's only 19, but
it's just the way he's built as well.
So many players.
It does look a decent prospect, but he's playing in the German league. There's 2-3 teams in the German league that I'd be worried about.
But there's so many players that have looked so good at 19, break through.
Isco was the one. Isco.
Yeah, Isco.
10 years ago, Isco was going to be fucking the next Maradona.
And James Rodriguez, look at him.
Exactly. So there's so many young footballers that you think they're going to become... They're the heir to Ronaldo, they're the heir to Messi, they're the heir to Ronaldinho, this, that and the other. Look at Neymar.
I think Neymar's so good.
He's good, but he's I don't know. He's too much of his own ass.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So much talent. So Balotelli, he had more talent than I was going to say Zlatan, but I can't really say that.
I don't think you're wrong there. To be honest, I really don't think you're wrong. I reckon if anyone could have been close to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, it would have been Balotelli. But he fucked his career up massively. So
exactly the one who was it? Roberto Mancini at the time that was manager of City. He tried to put him down that path. He started going into his adult 20, 21, 22, where he's buying all these fancy cars. He's like, no, you stick to one car. You don't buy any Lamborghinis. You don't spray paint any colour. It's black. You stick to that. I remember it after he set fire to his the fireworks. Yeah, set fire to his bathroom. He was like, he's like, no more house parties. You're not allowed. You're doing this. This is now your set routine. 7 days a week, you do this. You're not allowed people round. You're not allowed to go out. You let me know what you are doing. And he tried to, but then the end of it, which is kind of silly, but the end of it was in that friendly, was when you could tell that he was fed up and he was.
But he took the penalty and he fucking did the reverse flick or whatever it was.
Yeah, and he went through on goal and done that little flick thing. And Mancini brought him off. What was it? 30 minutes into a friendly, and that was it. And that was Balotelli's Man City career done. And you could tell that was his footballing career done because no other manager was going to put up with shit. Because Mancini had obviously brought him into City and had tried to nurture him as a footballer. He'd already gone through all that hard work, so he's going to keep trying to make him into that class player. But as soon as he went, no one else is going to put up with it.
It shows how good of a player he was because the amount of clubs that still take a gamble on him.
Well, Liverpool did. To be fair,
Well,
that was
yeah,
panic buy.
So he was at City, where he was. I'm going to stick with what you said. He could have been the next Ibrahimovic. He really could have been at City, right? He had all the bullshit with Mancini, and it was a penalty, by the way. So it was a friendly in America. It was a friendly in America against some Los Angeles team. I can't remember who it was. And he basically stepped up to the penalty and did like this fucking reverse heel flick, fucking Cruyff turn penalty shit. And Mancini pulled him off straight away. And Mancini said, "I'm taking you off because even though this is a friendly game, you're showing so much disrespect to the opposition." And then that was him gone. Then out the door. They had fights, everything. And he's been to like fucking what, Marseille, Lille, fucking. It's just been.
He's in Italy, and then he went back to Liverpool for a stint.
He's been fucking absolutely everywhere, and his career has just gone totally down the toilet.
Wait, he's at Brescia now, and Brescia just got promoted, didn't they?
But if that guy,
they said they're cancelling his contract because he hasn't got the fight to fight in the relegation fight. They're in a relegation fight, and he just doesn't care.
Let me tell you one thing that I hate to admit, and I hope. If Mario Balotelli would have been under Alex Ferguson, Mario Balotelli would have been Ibrahimovic by now. Mancini, you might have it with your own dad, yeah, where your own dad might let you off with more shit than a teacher would or a fucking mentor would, yeah? Because it's your dad. And that's the problem with Mancini. Mancini behaved as if he was Balotelli's dad. And he let him get away with too much shit. Like the fireworks in the bathroom. All of that shit wasn't just once. It was happening over and over and over again. And he was just getting away with too much shit. And he could have been anything. Balotelli could have been anything.
Balotelli was class.
Was he at Inter? Was it Inter or AC?
Yeah.
Where under Mourinho
Milan.
was it was Inter under Mourinho, right?
Yeah.
When he was in the same team as like Eto'o and people like that.
Oh yeah, because I remember Mourinho said once it was half time. Balotelli was playing up front by himself. They were holding on, and he said, he's on a yellow card. He was, I don't want you making any challenges. You just stand up front. Just close your man down. I don't want you making any tackles. Just close him down. And he said within 42 seconds he got sent off of the second half. He said he had a 15-minute.
Minutes of the 15.
Yeah,
speaking to him. That's Balotelli down to. He said all his strikers are injured. He's got no Eto'o, no I think Ibra might have been there at the time. Yeah, no Milita. He had nobody, and then he was spoke to Balotelli for 14 minutes of the 15. Yep. And then
how sad's that though that his career's just fucking bye. I mean, he's still got more money than sense. Fair play, but he could have been in that Messi Ronaldo bracket.
Adebayo was another one. He's still delivering.
Yeah.
But you must love Adebayo because he came to City and scored the goal against Arsenal and fucking ran the length of the pitch and told them out.
I've never seen so many salty fans in one corner.
that was, I still can't.
It's iconic.
That was brilliant. But one player that I thought is the next kind of big thing for England was Ravel Morrison.
Yeah, I was literally about to say it, and then look at that. He's playing in Mexico now, isn't he?
No, he played well. He's
been released by Sheffield United, didn't he?
Is he? I thought he was still contracted to him. But
Jack Rodwell.
I was about to say Jack Rodwell.
I'll tell you what, right? Everyone says that City ruined Rodwell, but it's not fucking true. It's not fucking. No, he came to us injured.
You watched the Sunderland documentary, didn't you? It shows in there that Rodwell just didn't want to play himself.
He came to us injured and he couldn't be asked getting fit again.
Yeah.
So, and everyone says City ruined Rodwell, but it's just not true. Who's the one player at your club, like a kid now? So you might say Alexander Arnold or something like that. But the one, I swear, I would give anything to see Phil Foden just be England captain or something one day. Because I genuinely believe that Phil Foden has got it in him to be Messi, Ronaldo level. I genuinely believe that. Because Messi
every time.
Messi didn't become Messi until he was at least 26, 27. He didn't. Ronaldo the same. When Ronaldo left United, that's when he became Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Because Ronaldo, when he was at United, not many people remember this, but Ronaldo, he was getting himself sent off all the time. I think he had one season where he scored 30 goals, Ronaldo. But other than that, he was getting himself sent off all the time. He was diving. He was a fucking absolute loser when he was in the Premier League for the most part. It was when he went over there, he became when he hit 26, 27 years old, he became Ronaldo. Messi, 26, 27, became Messi. And Phil Foden is still fucking 19 years old. And I swear to God, that kid could become anything he wants to be. And I just genuinely hope with everything that Phil Foden becomes the fucking footballer. I hope become.
The only player I think that will be better than anyone else, and that proves the point, because Messi and Ronaldo, if you said they reach their peak when they get 27. Mbappe now is just, he done it in a World Cup final. He's 21. He's the only player I think he's miles better than, or will be, when Messi and Ronaldo leave. Mbappe will run it for the next few years.
Well, what about players I'm talking about players in our league.
Yeah. I like Foden a lot.
I like Foden. On Foot Manager, I sign Foden all the time. I can back that. Phil Foden has the ability. He has the mentality. You can tell he wants to play for City. He wants to become good. He wants to. I think it's good the fact that he's from City. He's a Man City fan, and now he's getting integrated. And he's not all of a sudden got this bumper £100,000 contract.
It's a shame, though, because when Phil Foden plays for City, then that means we've got no fans in the stands. It's a big shame. It's hard to be a fan of the club that you play for, because then there's an empty fucking seat then, isn't there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really do hope that he just because... And you know what? I'd begrudgingly say that even if he played for Liverpool or United or someone else like that, I'd want him to fucking turn out, because he's such a talent. It's ridiculous how talented he is.
Yeah.
100%. He's I think the next best one for England is probably probably Trent. Although Trent is getting found out a lot defensively, he's only 21, and I
like Trent, but then at the same time, I feel like the hype over Trent is just too much. I don't think he's as good as what everyone makes out.
The kids at Chelsea, or what's Tottenham got to offer?
Japhet Tanganga, yeah.
Tanganga's a fraud. He's not any good. He dives in too much, and he's going to be a Eric Bailly kind of. No,
I like Tanganga's better now. I'm the first person to.
He reminds
me of the last 2
years.
Yeah, but
and
the last 2 years, I will say Ali is nowhere near the Ali that.
Oh, Ali's the fraud.
I agree so much.
Ali's definitely the fraud. But there's only one player that's more of a fraud than Dele Alli, and it's that one that's at United. Not Rashford.
Lingard.
Rashford's all right. Lingard is like Dele Alli
23
and Lingard. Well, all right, because Lingard, although he acts like he's 15,
28,
he's about fucking 30 by now, Lingard. But he is the biggest fucking shambles ever, Jesse Lingard.
100%. Well, Arsenal are meant to be putting in like a £25 million.
That is a typical Arsenal signing. That is typical.
They'll probably put him at centre half.
Arsenal still got Mustafi. I just don't understand. And go Xhaka in midfield. Just.
You know, I don't think Xhaka's a.
The thing is, though, you look at Arsenal.
I think it's a really good box-to-box player.
I think Guendouzi's the best of what they've got, but I think the rest of it is a fucking behind the Aubameyang and fucking Lacazette and Pepe. Their defense is a complete shambles, but Guendouzi's a decent young player, but he's going to get ruined by Arsenal. You know he's going to get ruined by Arsenal.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you take away Aubameyang's goals, they're literally only 4 points off the relegation places, and they're letting Aubameyang go for free because he doesn't want to sign a new contract. I don't know. I saw Aubameyang's Instagram live interview, and Benzema asked him about signing a contract with Arsenal, and he went he said, "Oh no, I don't think I will." So that means he's leaving on a free. And how can you replace someone who scores that many goals when you're getting no transfer fee for them?
And they already don't spend money as it is. I mean, they spent 72 million on Nicolas Pepe, and
they have to pay over 5 years.
Yeah, but he's returned that with 4 goals and 3 assists, something like that.
That's almost as bad as Riyad Mahrez. I mean, when Riyad Mahrez was at Leicester, he was fucking world class because he was playing in a fucking fish pond. But now he's at City, he's in a fucking ocean. And he's fucking a one-footed, one-trick pony, and I fucking can't stand him. I hope that Arsenal come in with a fucking £70 million bid for fucking Riyad Mahrez. I just bet. Liverpool, just anyone just take Riyad Mahrez off our hands because he is fucking shocking.
Yeah, but Mahrez can't get in your team because my favourite player for City, obviously you got De Bruyne, but the one player that I just think, whenever I watch him play, I just enjoy watching him play, and that is Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva is unbelievable when he plays football. The way he moves the ball.
Makes them blue boys sing. We're not going to Madrid. Yeah, Bernardo Silva's a fucking engine. He's a proper engine. He's like Yaya Toure without the muscle or the weight. He's a fucking engine. He's just everywhere.
The way he pops in them gaps, like he'll just pop up anywhere in between the full back and the centre back and the holding midfielder and the central midfield. He pops in that little area, gets the ball, and he's going to find the winger at the far post or that little slide ball to Aguero or Jesus, whoever's up front. He's just, his vision is he's the heir to him, or Phil Foden's the heir to David Silva, because
I personally think that it's Bernardo and Phil Foden, because David Silva's leaving at the end of the season, which is, by the way, I want to point out the fact that we potentially won't get to clap David Silva off at the end of his career or give him a testimonial because of this fucking bullshit that's going on. That's sad. That's sad, because that guy is a fucking legend. And Kevin De Bruyne, by the way, I think he's 28 or 29 now, so he's not a spring chicken, So Kevin De Bruyne has got 2 or 3 seasons, and I think they're going to play a combination of Foden, Bernardo, and De Bruyne. But I do think eventually it will be Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden in that midfield, because that's scary. If them two reach their potential, that's fucking scary for anyone's face.
Well, I think there's only one manager that could play 2 creative midfielders, or even 3. Because I think what will happen is De Bruyne will sit deeper and play that more deep line more deep line playmaker role, and you'll have Foden and Bernardo Silva just finding the gaps, like boycotted by the wingers bombing forward. If there's one manager that can do that, and that's Pep Guardiola, because he does it.
In the last summertime, we were talking about either signing Ndombele or Rodrigo, and we obviously Tottenham signed Ndombele and we signed Rodrigo. I think both of them are fucking shit. They're both shit. Do
you not like Rodrigo?
No. Look at Fernandinho, yeah?
Fernandinho is top class.
He's the best fucking DM since fucking Biscuits at fucking Barcelona, yeah? He's fucking world class, Fernandinho. And he's shown how world class he is by playing at fucking centre half better than any of our fucking defenders at 34 years old.
Do you know what pisses me off the most is that Ndombele, when he plays, he has the potential to be as good as he wants. Like you watch him play, he has it there. What we signed him for, he still shows it, but he just can't be arsed. He doesn't have the fitness. He can't be bothered. If Mourinho can somehow get him next season, he's unbelievable. When he's on his game, you watch him. The things he does, I've never seen a player at Spurs do that on the ball. The way he turns people is better than Moussa Dembele, and Moussa Dembele was the best midfielder Spurs have had. But he's just pathetic the way he just runs about the pitch and literally just tells everyone else what to do when the ball's next to him. All he has to do is take 5 yards, but he's still moaning at someone 20 yards away to do the job for him.
Yeah. But they're the 2 players that could have set this league on fire, and I think I think they're both decent and they're both capable of being really, really good. But I think they're both underperformed.
I like Rodri, but I think Ndombele has so much more potential. You obviously watched both legs you played Lyon last season. He got man and match at both of them.
Yeah, and that's why we were onto him for signing him.
Yeah, no one does that against a Pep Guardiola midfield, but I don't understand how he's come this season. The first few games, he scored the winning goal or got us back in the game at Villa, and then got injured. Mourinho come in, and now he's just jogs about.
I don't think he's a Mourinho player, to be honest. I don't think he's.
Mourinho's going to play him in that holding midfield role where he's going to. That's not his position. If you watched him at Lyon, he was in that kind of box to box, get the ball and drive, kind of similar to Yaya Toure.
It was Yaya. It was basically a Yaya replacement, definitely.
Yeah, he's so good at that. When you see glimpses of it. There's one against Southampton, and he took on about 5 of them, and he just does them with ease. He literally just the way he uses his body.
Mourinho sees him as the kind of Wanyama replacement, as that holding midfielder,
I think it's harder this season though because we have no player there. We have no one. You either play, if you don't play Ndombele, you play Winks, and if you don't play Winks, you play Dyer. But then Dyer doesn't want to be there anymore. And I don't think Dyer should play DM because Dyer turns like a bus. Dyer can dominate, but he can't pivot on the ball. I don't understand why he got moved to DM in the first place. But
there's only one player that's more overrated in that position, and that's the one at Chelsea. Not Kante. Kante's decent. I reckon he could put Kante in pretty much any team and he'd be fucking decent. But what's the one that Chelsea signed? Because
Jorginho.
Jorginho. I still think he's fucking a shambles. He's not Premier League material in my opinion.
He's just a sideways passer, and he'll get the ball and he'll pass to the guy next to him. He's the one that kind of keeps the creative players ticking.
Like if you had a 21-year-old Pirlo and a 21-year-old Jorginho in the same team, then they'd probably smash it. But Chelsea don't.
If I was going to sign a DM from the Premier League that's proven, obviously not going foreign leagues, I'd get Ndidi from Leicester. The amount of interceptions the guy makes, he just stands still and just
you telling me that you'd take an Ndidi over a Fernandinho?
But I'm saying like that we can get. Spurs won't be able to get Fernandinho, and I'm
Fernandinho's 34. If you're looking, for the future.
I mean, he's done now, yeah. But Fernandinho when he was about 26, 27.
Yes, 100%.
Oh yeah, 100%. Fernandinho.
You signed him and Fernando, and
Fernando.
Fernando's
miles ahead.
Fernando, oh my god.
Who was better?
Signing them both at the same time.
Who was better, Fernandinho or Nigel de Jong?
See, de Jong was of the time. Like, you know, I always remember that World Cup, Spain and Holland in the final, where de Jong just fucking karate kicks. Is it Fabregas?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he don't get sent either. That was when the referees were. I mean, fuck me, with VAR now, de Jong would have had 10 red cards for that challenge. But de Jong at City then, that was all we needed was someone to beat. It was like a Roy Keane, and I hate to say that because I can't stand Roy Keane. Because personally, I think Roy Keane should be in prison because he premeditated attacked Alfie Inga Haaland and broke his legs in a football match. And if I premeditatedly walk down the street and say, I'm going to break your fucking legs and then break your legs, I'm going to prison.
He said it in his book, didn't he?
He did. He said it in his book. He said, I went out there to break his legs. Now, that's premeditation, which is a crime. Now, so that's what de Jong was at City. De Jong was he was a marshal. I mean, did you know that de Jong, by the way, I think it was jiu-jitsu or something like that, or kickboxing or something. He was a world champion at some level of martial arts, as well as being a footballer. The guy was I'm 6'5" and I can handle myself, but there's not a chance that I'd come out of a fight with Nigel de Jong, you know, speaking properly. The guy would fuck me up. The guy would fuck anyone up, and that's what he was at City at the time. He was just a beast. You know, we had a song, you know, when de Jong goes sliding in, because he literally just every tackle was a fucking slide tackle. You know, I swear.
I used to love watching Nigel de Jong. AC Milan as well. Nigel de Jong was just brilliant.
And I think he broke. He was an Arsenal player. He broke, was it Ramsey or something like that? He fucking broke Ramsey's legs or something like that.
Probably Wilshere.
Wilshere.
Played the grass could break Wilshere's legs.
It was some Arsenal player anyway that he broke his legs, and he was just a fucking machine. But Fernandinho can tackle, but he can pass as well. He can do it. Fernandinho was a silky footballer as well as being a fucking.
Nigel de Jong snapped Ben Arthur's leg.
Oh, it was Ben Arthur.
Ben Arthur, yeah, he done him.
No, he did. It did two players. It was Ben Arthur and it was someone at Arsenal as well.
Oh, Sami Nasri. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Nasri because we signed Nasri.
I've just got here. Ref needs to. He broke Sami Nasri's leg just before he signed for you. Yeah. Was he here? Not sure. That's what it's saying.
I don't think it was Nasri. I think it was like Wiltshire or something like that. Someone who was made up.
He definitely done Ben Arthur though.
Yeah. No, I remember him doing Ben Arthur. But yeah, so de Jong was a brute. But Fernandinho, he can be rough, but he's a fucking footballer.
The way I kind of look at it is Nigel de Jong's that kind of a Real Madrid player where he, like a Mourinho type of player, he'll get stuck in, he'll crunch, he'll do the dirty job. Where Fernandinho's more your Barcelona, Pep Guardiola class. He'll get the ball, he'll play it out, he'll win the ball if he needs to. He doesn't need to slide in. If you know what I mean. So that's the kind of way.
It's just a shame he's 34 years old. I'd give anything for a 21-year-old fucking Fernandinho. Oh my god.
I just wish that we could get Dembele back. Dembele was the most underrated player that we've ever had.
So where did he go?
China.
Went to China because he's 31, right. And he said he's obviously he couldn't keep up with the Premier anymore. But on his day, he was unbelievable.
At 31.
I mean, Fernandinho was not looked at a place this season, has he? And he's 34. No. So it just shows you that. When a 31-year-old saying I can't keep up with it anymore. Shows you the difference.
I think for Dembele could have done another couple of seasons because even at 31, he's saying I can't keep up with it. He was still Tottenham's best midfielder.
I think it was more of just an excuse. He was just getting pushed out, even though every time he played.
What was the paycheck in China as well? You know what I mean?
Like 300,000 probably.
You look at it as well. He played the season we sold him in January. He played against Juventus in the Champions League and got man of the match away at their stadium.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it was a game we played Juventus away, and then we had Man United, and then we had another big side. In all 3 games, he was man of the match, and it just showed how much we miss him because we've never replaced him.
No, in Dembele's meant to be your replacement, but again, he's not going to be the replacement under Jose Mourinho because Jose Mourinho is going to play him as that holding midfielder, but he's not that. He hasn't got the mentality to be like, right, I want to win that ball, I want to win that ball. He's got the mentality to give me the ball, or if I win the ball, I'm going to drive forward, I'm going to do something. He's not.
How did you feel about Mourinho when you got Mourinho winning? How did you feel about him?
50-50 because every Spurs fan has an attachment to Pochettino because like we were fifth, sixth at best.
I know why you had an attachment to Pochettino because his sums Tottenham up, tries hard but wins fuck all. That was why you loved him so much.
We should have won. We had the team. We underachieved. We were up the top for 3 years in a row. We should have won. It's just one of them things where we did bottle it a few times, but we should have won something with that team at that moment in time. But Pochettino done the best we could. If you look at Pochettino's net spend compared to other managers, he has a lower net spend than teams.
Oh, don't start with the net spend.
No, but I'm just saying.
You've got a Liverpool fan on here.
Money.
He's the fucking net spend champion. Liverpool fans don't talk about net spend. Liverpool are going about net spend all day. Fucking net spend champions over here.
Look at the signings that team has to make. It's not even like a Leicester or even Everton or Wolves where they come up for 1 or 2 years, challenge with the top teams. We've managed to stay in the top 6. Like we are solidified in that top 6 now without, like Chelsea. Chelsea bought their way into the top 6. We've solidified, and that's started with Harry Redknapp, and Pochettino just took it at that next level because Harry Redknapp got 5th.
With Harry's dodgy dealings.
Yeah, but getting Van der Vaart was the best one of them all.
Nico Kranjcar, Jermaine Defoe, Peter Crouch.
Yeah,
they were the typical.
Pochettino has took our club to the next level. That's why it was. I didn't want him to leave, but then if you think about it, I think it was probably the right time, especially with the comments he was making before the Champions League final. I think that was the end, and then Spurs fans want to win trophies.
That Champions League final was the most boring game of football that you've ever seen in your entire life.
What ruined it was the worst decision ever made in a cup final after 24 seconds. I will never let it go. It's pathetic. And yeah, no, that's it. That's all that needs to be said on that situation.
I'll admit.
Let's be honest, that quarterfinal between the quarterfinal between Tottenham and City was a fucking million times better than the semi-final and the final.
That was one of the best games of football I've ever seen. It was 21 minutes and it's 3-2.
3-0 down and then beat Barcelona 4-0.
I'm sorry, but the day after we were 3-0 down with 45 minutes left of the leg to go, and we managed to do it in the 95th minute and 1 second.
What?
That Champions League final was fucking terrible. That Champions League final was awful.
Yeah. As soon as we went 1-0 down, Liverpool just sat.
It ruined it, the fact that we went 1-0 up within the first 2 minutes. That's what ruined it, because we knew we could just defend the lead.
For the first time since that final, I watched the replay of that game for the first time because I've not watched anything, and I don't really remember much from the game anyway because I was just getting ready for the game and it kind of just went as a blur. But I watched it back.
The tears covered his eyes.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the replay. 70% of that game I never knew happened. I don't remember it. I watched it back and I was like, literally, that did not happen.
You fell asleep. That's why everyone else fucking fell asleep. Shocking. First 2 minutes, and then was it Origi in the last 20 minutes or something like that? That's all I remember.
They scored in the first minute and the 89th minute.
What a fucking boring Liverpool. Oh dear.
From a penalty that's my god.
The penalty was a shambles, yeah.
It's his armpit.
It's European football for you. That's that trophy that everyone says they love. Well, that's European football for you. Shitty decisions that ruin games.
Obviously, we're all 3 separate teams here. You two are obviously better than Spurs at the moment, but I'm giving you 2 signings to make this summer. Obviously, after move on from the fact that the coronavirus has stopped football, but you have two signings to make to improve your team that are realistic. Who are Man City signing? Who are Liverpool signing? And then I'll go with who I think Spurs will sign. Or you want them to sign, and they have to be able to get there. You can't go and choose like whoever you want. But
can we talk about the players that we want to replace as well?
Yeah, but I just want two main signings that you would make. Your Pep Guardiola, Aaron, your Klopp.
Let's let the world champions who can't even win their own domestic league talk first, and then I'll come in.
For me, I think we need a creative player. So I'd probably go in for Kai Havertz. He's 20. He's already Leverkusen's best player. He's the most promising player in Germany, I think, off the top of my head. And I think he could probably take the Premier League, but he's got the physicality as well. He's not small. He's not timid. I think Kai Havertz would be the number one target. I'd spend 60, 70, 80 million on him to bring him in because we haven't got a creative player. Gini Wijnaldum's a bloody creative player and he's not. He's just a workhorse. So I'd probably bring him in and Timo Werner to replace Divock Origi as the kind of backup to the front three, as he can play in every single position 10 times better than what Origi can. So that would probably be my main two signings.
Who would you get rid of?
Who would I get rid of? Divock Origi. And I'd probably replace Wijnaldum in the starting 11. Wijnaldum would probably be on the bench and rotate with Kai Havertz. But that would be
what about like players like Milner and Shaqiri and all that sort of stuff?
Shaqiri would go. Shaqiri's just been awful. Whenever he plays, he's had one good game. He scored 2 deflected shots against Man United. But every time Shaqiri plays, he's just lazy. He walks around the pitch. He's not got the drive of a Salah or Mane. He's not got to get the ball, run and do something. You do my job and then I'll pop up in the box. I'd probably get rid of Shaqiri. Milner, I'd keep Milner around. I love Milner. I think Milner's quality. We can play him left back, play him right back, midfields. Fuck it, you can play him centre back up front, in goal. Milner
as long as he remembers that he left City to win trophies and he's won 1 and we've won 7 since he left. So,
well, he left City to win the Champions League, which he done.
Woo! There's only Liverpool care. Nobody else gives a fuck. But right. All right, so that's who you'd get rid of. At City, at the minute, we've got Alexander Zinchenko, who is an attacking midfielder that if you've ever seen him playing for the Ukraine, you'd think he was the next fucking Lionel Messi in that attacking midfielder role. But at the minute, he's playing left back for us. Benjamin Mendy's a fucking shower of shit. He's either always injured or he's always half-assed. And he's got one cross, and he fucking skies it every single time he crosses it. So we need the new left back. Emerick Laporte is probably the best fucking defender in the world. You can fuck your Virgin van Dijk and your fucking Captain Scarlet, whatever you want to call him. He's a bang average. He wishes he was Vincent Kompany and he's not as good as Vincent Kompany. So Emerick Laporte is the best centre half in the world, but he's fucking injured and his career is probably ruined because of his what's that injury that he had? He's had that mad injury on his leg, the one that's either ends your career or whatever
ACL, is it?
Yeah, ACL, yeah. John Stones could be a top Premier League defender if he tried and stopped sleeping around. So we definitely need 2 centre-halves. But the thing is, right, they don't exist. Like, people have said Nathan Ake at Bournemouth is shit. He's nowhere near good enough to win a Premier League or a Champions League.
I don't think he's tall enough. He's what?
Exactly.
He's like 5'9".
Exactly.
He get bullied.
So we never got a company replacement, which was the worst crime ever committed. But then again, like I said, the only player that was out there that was anywhere near close good enough was Virgil van Dijk, and he went to Liverpool. There isn't another centre-half out there that isn't 31 years old and getting ready to retire or getting ready to go to China. There's no young defenders.
Would you have been happy if you got Harry Maguire?
I would have been personally, because Harry Maguire at United has turned out to be an average Premier League defender, but Pep Guardiola would have got more out of him. It would have got more out of him than Mourinho or fucking Solskjaer.
I know he's not been that great, but I don't think Maguire's been that bad of a signing.
He's not been that bad, but he's been an above average Premier League defender.
But he holds that. The Man United defense is terrible anyway, and he manages to keep it a little bit stable.
But he's not a Laporte and he's not a Van Dijk.
No, I think Laporte is.
But I don't think he improved the defense. I just think he stabilised it a little bit more than what
that United defence. You genuinely could not get much worse than that Man United defence. You couldn't get much worse than it. It was shocking. But I think we could all agree that if Maguire would have gone to City instead of United, he would have been a way different player than he is now.
Oh yeah, you look at
Solskjaer is not a Guardiola or Solskjaer. Who do you want to get managed by? Basically, you choose Guardiola all day.
There's no option. I mean, who was your manager for Guardiola? The old West Ham manager,
Manuel Pellegrini.
Pellegrini. He's a good tactical manager. He's a good tactician. He could not get the best out of Sterling. Sterling was good under him, but he could not get the best out of Sterling. Sterling scores a hat-trick, and Pep Guardiola's still telling him what he needs to do better.
Exactly.
I feel like he's leaving soon, though.
Sterling?
Yeah.
Where?
Real Madrid.
I
feel like he'll replace him, though. I feel like he's replaceable.
That he'd love to play for the Whites.
I feel like Sterling's replaceable. I don't think that's the end of the world for you.
Sterling's what? How old Sterling now? 25?
25, 26, I thought.
So maybe another 2 years at City, and then he can go there. That's fine. I'm not bothered about that. But so you're asking me who would love to sign as City. There isn't a centre half that exists that I want to sign. Now we've got Garcia, Eric Garcia, and Taylor Howard-Bellis that are our youth prospects. Garcia is like Nathan Ake. He's not tall enough to be a centre half. But have you ever seen Garcia play?
Didn't he play? He played in the He played in
all the
Carabao
competitions
Cup against Oxford, didn't he? When he played Oxford, I watched.
Obviously, Nico Otamendi. Nico Otamendi is a decent centre half, but he's to me, no offense to Tottenham, but Nico Otamendi would be in your starting 11.
I think anyone would be in our starting 11 alongside Alderweireld because the only player that's
that's the only player that's the only player I'd want to sign. But how old's Alderweireld? He's too old. You know what I mean? He's too old. So for me, City desperately need a centre half, but that centre half does not exist. There's two players that I would have thought about coming to City that I haven't already mentioned. One of them would have been Mats Hummels, but the guy turns like a fucking oil tanker and he's too old now. And then that kid that was at Ajax, De Ligt, is it De Ligt?
He's getting found out as well a bit at the moment.
But again, like you're saying, he's getting found out. So unless there's someone I'm missing, is there a 20? Like let's say a 20 between. No, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. There isn't a between 23 and 25-year-old centre half anywhere in the world that could improve City.
He's 24 actually. There's one, and he plays in the German national team, and I like him a lot for Bayern Munich. Is that Sule?
Oh yeah, Sule.
He bullies every defender. He's the sort of player. He does remind me of Company, to be fair, a little bit.
He brought Guardiola. I believe he bought him and brought him through
from Hoffenheim, didn't he?
Yeah, and he brought him into Munich.
So there's potentially one now. As you should know, if you're going to be competitive in 4 tournaments, you need 4 centre halves, and you need at least 2, maybe 3 of them to be world class. At the minute, City's got 1.5, and that's Fernandinho and Laporte. Like 2 seasons ago, we had John Stones playing well. We had Laporte, who was fucking world class, but he's been injured, and we had Vincent Kompany. Now we've got Laporte and half of John Stones plus.
And then you had Otamendi as the backup.
I'd say that we've got 2 complete, and we've got half in Laporte. Sorry, we've got half in John Stones and half in Fernandinho because Fernandinho's too old and John Stones is too inconsistent. If Laporte's fit, then fine, he's fucking world class. At right back, we had Danilo. We bought Cancelo the start of the season. Now, I don't know if you ever saw Danilo play, but Cancelo's fucking wank compared to Danilo. Yeah. That was a downgrade, in my opinion. We've got Kyle Walker, who is getting on now, but I still think Kyle Walker, he's got a few brain farts in him, but I still think he's a fucking world-class right back. At left back, like I say. At left back, but then you got rid of Tierney as well, which made no sense to me. At left back, Trippier's for you. Why am I saying fucking Tierney? Jesus Christ. At left back, we've got an attacking midfielder, like I said, in Zinchenko, and we've got Benjamin Mendy, who's not good enough. So for me, we need a centre half, maybe 2 centre halves, and we need a left back. And the centre halves, apart from one that you've mentioned from fucking Bayern Munich, there doesn't really exist. We don't need a DM. We don't need any midfielders. We've got fucking Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden. We've got so many fucking Ilkay Gundogan, David. So we've got so many midfielders. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Wingers, we don't really need wingers. Strikers, we don't really need strikers because Aguero will stay and Gabby Jesus. That's perfect. But we don't have any fucking defence. Our defence is fucking shocking. And there really aren't that many players out there to fucking replace what we've got.
Yeah.
The one thing that confused me is, as you said, you've got Mendy, who's either too inconsistent or injured, or you got a attacking midfielder at left back, and you loaned out Angelino. Surely Angelino would have been the ideal player to, because
he was terrible.
Well, that's the thing though. When we first started, we had Angelino, and there was another guy who was at right back with a left back and a right back who came through our academy under Pellegrini. And I don't know if you remember it, but we played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge about 6 years ago in the FA Cup, I think it was, and we lost like 5-1.
Yeah.
It was like 5-1 or 4-0 or something like that, and we basically played our youth team in that game, and we got a load of shit for doing it. But it was Angelino. Yeah, it was Garcia. That was it, because we've had about 5 fucking Garcias. It was Angelino and Garcia at left back and right back, and they were both looking like they were going to be world class prospects. And then we just fucked them both off, and we brought Mendy in and people like that. And because before that we had Wayne Bridge, and who the fuck was the left back that we had? Oh fuck me.
Zabaleta was on the other side, wasn't he?
We had Zabaleta, Bakary Sagna, or Gael Clichy. We had Gael Clichy and Alexander Kolarov, and they were never fucking that good. They were decent, but they were never that good. We never replaced them. Yeah, but Kolarov wasn't a defender. Kolarov was an attacker. Yeah. So
Zabaleta was good. I must admit, Zabaleta is one of the
Zabaleta was worldy, but Zabaleta only had 3 seasons at world class level. After that, his legs went and he was fucked.
Yeah, well, I remember when Hazard and literally Zabaleta's legs just broke from him doing step overs. I don't know if you remember away at
of course do. Yeah, of course do.
Yeah.
But we've never. So you're saying who would have wanted to sign? The answer is I don't fucking know, because I don't think that player exists. We need a centre half, and for me, they don't exist.
What about I don't know if it is your main target, but the main reported target in Soyuncu. I don't know what I make of him yet. I don't think he's played in the Prem long enough, but
Nope.
He's only. How old is it? I think he's 20, isn't he?
Who, the Leicester one?
Yeah.
I thought it was 24 or something like that.
Might be. He's definitely not old.
No, he's not old, but
like I say, I mean, you've mentioned the one from Germany there that you think could fit in that City team.
Yeah.
But do you agree that that's where City's problems are? Obviously, it's the defence, but we need the centre half and we need the left back, and I just don't see where they exist in the world.
Well, Ben Chilwell?
Is he good enough? No, Chilwell will just go to United. He'll be another Luke Shaw.
Apparently, he's one of our main targets, but I don't see how we're going to get him.
You got to spend 60 million.
It's your team. What? Can I ask a question now? When the football comes back, right?
Yeah.
If I was a small business now, I know this is going back to the first thing we talked about, but as a small business, if I was on the bones of my ass now, the government's going to bail me out. When Liverpool and Tottenham are making money again, or more money than they're making anyway, do they have to pay any of that money back to the government? And if Tottenham or Liverpool went out and spunked £80 million on a player, are people going to fucking start rioting in the streets that they were taking £1 million a month to pay staff wages?
Yeah. I'm hearing they've cut our transfer budget again as well. He's just trying to make as much.
Me? It was already nothing. What is it now? Minus nothing.
I think our transfer budget is only 50 million. That's less than the teams that get promoted.
You want to make that step up as well to get back into to the top 3, and Levy's. You need to sack Levy.
If it's people always say Levy, I agree. Levy's the one spending the money, but Levy's not the one actually putting the money into the club. It's Joe Lewis. He never turns up. He doesn't do anything. I think he's 96 now.
You just need him to die then, didn't you?
He does want to sell, but because that's why we haven't named our stadium, because whoever buys us, it's like an extra selling point, because then whoever buys us can rebrand us as well with the name of the stadium.
Or is that why it's just called Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Yeah, because he doesn't want to sell the rights, because that'll be part of the sale whenever this happens. Well,
does that not make you feel sick as a football fan?
Yeah, but growing up as a Spurs fan, I don't know, obviously people before, but I've grew up through the whole of Levy and Enick, Joe Lewis. That's all I know. That's all I know of them trying to make as much money. We never spent big in the transfer window. Even when the Bale money, we got Bale's money, and it just was try and get the cheapest deal on like 7 or 8 players.
You got Paulinho in that as well.
I know it's mad that you're saying 50 million is your transfer budget, but going back to my club, like, I think the most expensive player we've ever bought was De Bruyne at 63 million or something like that. Which, how much was Alisson at Liverpool?
67.
How much was Kepa? How much was
72.
How much was Leno?
Leno wasn't too much, to be fair.
How much was Maguire?
80 million.
80 mil.
And we got Kevin De Bruyne for 63.
It's not far off, and Ndombele's our most expensive at 58.
But we're called Moneybags FC, and we throw money about everywhere. But when you look at our signings, we've made some fucking crazy signings for fucking peanuts compared to what other clubs have spent.
Yeah. Well, I think I have the toughest job out of all three of us at what Mourinho is going to do.
All right, answer this question first. Is Mourinho still going to be at the club next season?
Yeah.
And why are you so confident? Because I don't fucking think he will be. I think he'll get a paycheck somewhere else. I think he'll go to China.
No, I think Mourinho will give it a season. He's got that's the whole reason he took the Spurs job. I don't know if you watched his interviews when he was doing Sky at the beginning of the season. If you saw some of his interviews. He said he's not rushing into the job. He's waiting for the project he wants. I'm not saying Mourinho was the best fit for him, but he wouldn't have took the Spurs job if he didn't feel like he had something he wanted to put into the team. He must have seen something, and he definitely would not have implemented that this season. He will definitely have pre-season, and next season we'll see. It might still be as bad, and then if next season's bad, there's no way you stay in another season. But he will put his mark on it.
Man.
He is a 3-season man, but for some reason, I just think that Mourinho will use all this coronavirus stuff as an excuse to just get out. Because look, Chelsea. No offense to what Mourinho achieved at Chelsea, but fucking anyone could have won the trophies at Chelsea at that particular time. It was so overloaded with players and so overloaded with quality players. Anyone could have won the trophies. So, if you want to see trophies as a Tottenham fan, I genuinely don't think Mourinho is the guy. And he's not. And yes, Mourinho usually is first year build the team, second year win the trophies, third year everything falls apart. That's what Mourinho is about.
Criticise everyone and get everyone away from him.
Fucking blah blah. That's what happens with Mourinho. Yeah, every time. At Tottenham, I just don't think that the club. I just don't think the board will give him the money and all the rest of it. And I just
won't give him the money.
No.
And I know you're desperate for trophies, and you should have won a trophy under Pochettino, at least a trophy.
Oh, yeah, we got to 3 finals, 3 semi-finals, come second in the league, come third in the league, even though we should have come second. But
the only team to finish third in a 2-horse race.
Yeah, but you say it's a 2-horse race. Arsenal were top in January. Yeah, they never get mentioned, but we'll forget about that.
They were behind, and then they just caught up.
Yeah, but Arsenal were like 4 points ahead, and then suddenly, just because we just went on a run and then made it actually a title race in March and April, suddenly Arsenal get forgotten about, and it's a 2-horse race between Spurs and Leicester, even though Arsenal were the ones that bottled it to begin with.
There's a way that you've got to look at football, in my opinion. If Mourinho was at Liverpool, he could win trophies. If Mourinho was at City, he could win trophies. If Klopp was at Liverpool, City, or Tottenham, he could win trophies. And if Pep was at Liverpool, he'd win trophies. If Pep was at Tottenham, he'd win trophies. So our 2 managers, Klopp and Pep, in my opinion, could win trophies at all 3 of those clubs in their current state. Whereas Mourinho could only win it a Liverpool or a City or a Chelsea in their states that they were in when they were at their best. Mourinho is not the guy that you get to build a team. I mean, look at, was it Ancelotti? Not Ancelotti. Ranieri, sorry, the guy who won it with Leicester.
Yeah.
He built that Chelsea team before Mourinho took over and won everything. If you remember.
Yeah.
Mourinho is not the guy to build you a team to win trophies. Mourinho is a guy to deliver you success with what you've already got. And Tottenham haven't already got a finished article. They've got certain players like Son and Kane who are ready to win trophies, but the rest of the team is not there ready with them. And Mourinho's not the guy to build that.
The biggest issue to all Spurs fans is that the last 3-4 years we've been 1 or 2 players off winning that title. We were 1 or 2 players off winning it. We have our first 11 was joint, if not the best in the league for a couple of years, but our squad depth was terrible. You look at our bench, and our bench could not even break into Norwich's team or any team down the bottom. The bench was just youngsters that you throw on the bench. We didn't have any squad depth.
The trouble is, though, you can never get a backup striker that is willing to sit on the bench, that's ready to come on for Harry Kane. Because who wants to go to Tottenham? Like, Tottenham are not a team that are known for winning trophies. So it's not like you're going to sit on the bench, earn a fat paycheck and win trophies. So you're going to sit on the bench, play 10, 15 minutes every game, get an average paycheck for a Premier League, for a footballer, and be known as just a backup to Harry Kane.
I know it's sacrilegious. I know it's sacrilegious, but you guys should have got Giroud.
No, we tried hard to get Giroud.
After he left Arsenal for Chelsea.
We tried to get him from Chelsea. We're still looking at him for the summer because
that'd be like another William Gallas, wouldn't
it? His contract's run up, but I don't know. If I was to make my 100%,
get Aubameyang then.
My 100% first signing is Max Aarons. That just solves our right back issue for a long time. I've watched him play twice this season. I went to both the games at home in the Cup and the League, and Max Aarons was the best player for Norwich, I think. Other than Todd Campbell was good as well, but in our team, Max Aarons would start every week. And then looking at a second player, we need a centre back, we need a left back, we need a DM, we need another creative player because we haven't replaced Eriksen. We need a backup striker. There's just so much work that needs done.
Mourinho's I think not going to be the type of manager.
No disrespect to Tottenham, but you need players in similar positions as Liverpool and City need players, and you're going to be third choice.
Yep.
And that's no disrespect for Tottenham, but you're going to be third choice, so that you're not going to get the best in those positions. You possibly got the best in the long term out of Ndombele, but he needs the right manager.
Yeah.
Mourinho's not the right manager for Ndombele.
I'll tell you though, and he's the only player, and I think, Aaron, you've said it as well, he would get into your team. He can't get in City's team because their midfield's too good, but one of our best signings was Lo Celso. He will stay in Spurs team for a while. I think that's a good signing. But he needs the right players around him.
But the only problem, as I've said before, with Lo Celso is if you're losing 2-0 with 20, 30 minutes to go, take him off. Because he's not going to put in the graft and he's not going to run around. Maybe it's just under Mourinho. Maybe he hasn't got
a lot of ground, to be fair. He's one of the players that covers the most ground
out
of the team.
When you're winning.
Well, he hasn't won much with us. We've not had the greatest season.
But it's when you need someone to grab the game by the balls and really you need someone to run at the defence and create stuff. I just haven't seen that from Lo Celso yet.
Well, we've got to look at the team. Mourinho's obviously looked at it more than anyone, but he's got to look at the team we've got. We have good enough players to build around. We just got to fill in the gaps now. Alderweireld's he's got a few years left in him. He's definitely the one you build. You get another centre back to partner him. We need 2 new fullbacks. I don't understand how we've got no fullbacks. They're both terrible. So Max Aarons 100% is who I'd get. Midfield, you got to build it around Ndombele and Lo Celso. I know you need more out of Ndombele, but you have to just go on the fact that there's not many other players better than him, than the ability he shows, but obviously you need to get it out of him. And then front 3, we've got a front 4 really, because Lucas moves about, but he's just so inconsistent. He's so inconsistent. No Spurs fan will ever hate him because of the Ajax game. Yeah, but no, he has the ability there, but I agree. But Bergwijn, I like. Son's obviously. Son and Kane speak for themselves. So it's mainly the defensive areas.
I think your front three
22.
is settled. Bergwijn, Kane and Son. That's your front three.
And then I think the midfield, this is why I like Ali, but Ali doesn't fit in anymore because he just doesn't show up. You play Lo Celso and Ndombele, and then you have a holding defensive midfielder that lets them two dictate the game.
Yeah. If I was you, I'd ship Ali off to Man United.
Dyer.
And I'd ship Dyer off to Everton or whatever.
That's about right. Everton for Dyer, definitely.
Yeah.
Get Aurier to a foreign club that just pays money.
Aurier to
right back.
Fiorentina.
Danny Rose is going to go to Newcastle on a permanent deal. We'll get rid of him. I like Winks as a squad player. I like Winks a lot. I know people don't like him, but I like Winks.
He's your
shows
luxury
passion as well.
Kind of like your luxury player. You give him the ball and he'll make that 30-yard pass.
I think it's Lamella's time to go as well. You can get 20, 25 million like from an Everton again, and a team like Everton will pay for Lamella that money. So I think Lamella's time's up, and then it's just about using it wisely to fill the gaps.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'd go out and spend 50, 60, 70 million on a top class holding midfielder who knows his job is holding midfielder.
If we get a complete holding midfielder, that allows Ndombele and Lo Celso to do what they do.
That's what I mean.
Because at the moment, both of them are trying to fill in that position, and there's no one out there.
Because Lo Celso played it when you still have Ericsson, and obviously Tottenham fans were calling out for Lo Celso. He played Lo Celso, who's 5'7", 5'6", 90 pounds. He played him in holding midfielder.
And he done a better job than Dyer and Wanyama, and that shows. But
Wanyama, I like Wanyama.
He did, but his injury cost him. When we first signed him from Southampton, the last season at White Hart Lane was his first season. That was the season we challenged Chelsea all the way, and if it weren't for just Chelsea just blew the league apart with that 5 at the back bringing, it wasn't until the season after everyone caught on to it.
Do you remember when we smashed Chelsea at the Etihad? Oh, beautiful day.
6-0, wasn't it?
5-0, 6-0.
6-0, yeah. 5-0 at half time, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and we just, we relaxed in the second half, I guess.
Yeah. But my two signings will be Max Aarons and then a DM, and I don't know who to sign. I think Ndidi would cost too much.
If I was you, I'd probably spend on Ndidi, but I don't think he's
about 60, wouldn't he?
Realistically, what's going to happen, and you know this is realistically what's going to happen, that Leicester team is probably going to get raped of players.
Oh, yeah, that Ricardo Pereira is unreal.
Yeah. That Leicester team will probably get taken apart by the top 4 this season.
The thing is, if you sell Cancelo, like you said, you need a right back coming in to replace Walker. I think Pereira's the only one you have to look at. He's unreal at that right back. He's so good.
And he's 26, whereas Kyle Walker's 29 now, 30?
I think it's about 30. But the thing is, we're more desperate. In my opinion, we're more desperate for a left back. But I think that Leicester team is going to get taken apart by the basically the new Southampton.
Do you know what's done Maddison the world of good is what happened to Grealish, because Grealish will not get that big money move now, and Maddison's gone off the radar. I think Maddison's overhyped as well. He's frauded himself to the top.
The thing is, though, right? I'm sorry, but Grealish is the best player in the world in the Championship. He's not in the Premier League. He just runs around like a headless chicken. I love the fact that he's got the fight and the desire to chase after balls and close plays down, but that's not how you have a successful career in the Premier League. It's about managing the game, about fucking bossing the midfield. He doesn't boss the midfield by chasing every ball. It shows heart and desire, but
he's cost himself big time now anyway.
I think in a bigger team, he wouldn't need to boss the midfield because he'll have other players. If he was in a Liverpool team, you'd have Fabinho and Henderson, and Grealish just creates and he just gets.
But you saw him in the League Cup final against City. He was a headless chicken. Once he had better opposition around him, he was fucking clueless. And I know that we only just won that game, but you know that we let the fucking foot off the gas at half time. The first half, we fucking ruined them. Yeah,
I just think Maddison's just. I don't think when you look at Leicester's team, he's not someone I'd want.
Yeah, if you need a goal, or if they ain't got Jamie Vardy, that one ball over the top, and Jamie Vardy's just going to chase it, even though everyone knows he's not getting it. He hasn't got anything. When Vardy was out of the team, and he was in that show, I don't think he got an assist, or I don't think he created anything.
It's like what you said with Grealish as well. I've watched Maddison a few times. When it's not going right, he has no determination or grit to
Tell you what,
knuckle down.
There's a player that's lost his career, by the way. Kelechi Iheanacho could have been another fucking world beater. But you know what fucked up, right? This is the thing with Pellegrini when he was at City. We signed Wilfried Bony from Swansea, and Iheanacho got fucking put out to pasture, and they played Wilfried Bony instead. And I'd never seen a player look more out of place than when Wilfried Bony played for City. It was
He's the one that put
ridiculous.
your money over the edge as well.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's Wilfried Bony. He was good at Swansea. Don't get it, because obviously he was there.
That's Swansea, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like Michu.
About to say, yeah, he was good at Swansea, and the trouble is once you have a look at the lesser clubs and you see, oh, he's scoring loads of goals. Let's bring him. He's going to be a coup. 30 million. He's going to score 20 odd, 30 odd goals a season. Yeah, he's not the focal point. There's other players that are going to score goals. The main person
that proves your point is Christian Benteke.
Yeah, Benteke, yeah, big fan. I was going to say them two that started off at Newcastle.
Demba Ba and
Papa Cisse.
Papa Cisse.
Yeah, Demba Ba and Cisse, yeah.
The streets will always know how good those two were together. As soon as Demba Ba got sold to Chelsea, that was it. Both their careers went.
Yeah, exactly.
Because them two they played off each other.
But even Andy Carroll.
Fuck Andy Carroll. I don't like Andy Carroll.
He was Liverpool's best ever player.
Was most expensive ever player for a time.
35 million. And you said Stuart Downing as well.
Listen, every club goes through that little stage. As you were saying with City, like 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, like top four club. And then you go through that little stage of you buy shit players, you get a certain manager in and it's just dog shit. Tottenham went through it. Their whole career.
We had 9 managers in a year, right? 9, and we got relegated twice.
Is that 2002 or 2001 when you got relegated?
No. We got relegated. I said we got relegated in 1996, and do you know why we got relegated? Do you want to know the story? The last day of the season, we needed a win. Now, I think United had already won the league. And Liverpool came to Main Road, which was our ground then. And Liverpool didn't need any points to get anything. They'd already qualified for Europe. They'd already fucking done this, that, and the other. They couldn't win the league, so Liverpool were already on holiday. Like, the Liverpool players basically weren't even trying. And all City needed to do was get a win, yeah? By half-time, we were 3-0 down against Liverpool. A Liverpool, who a team, and if they ever talk about it, they have done interviews about that game. They literally said the Liverpool team weren't even trying that game. They were trying to lose so that City wouldn't go down. And City were still losing 3-0 at half-time, yeah? We get the game back in the 80th minute. We get the game back to 3-3. And then someone from the City staff runs out the tunnel going, that's fine. All we need is a draw and we'll stay up. Yeah? And then we get relegated because we didn't need a draw. Somebody did the fucking maths wrong and we needed to win. Liverpool literally tried letting City win that game and we still could only get a draw. Like Liverpool, if you watch that game, there's highlights of that game, and Liverpool players like John Barnes and all that are literally fucking passing the ball back and fucking trying to let City players get onto it so we could have a goal, and we were still fucking missing. We were shit. But we had players like Rosler and Kincladze and all these players that were world class at the time. Like you probably never heard of Giorgio Kincladze, but he was literally one of the best players in the world at the time, and we still got relegated with him. We were just a fucking shambles. We were just the shambles of a club that had been up. We had I think it was 8 managers in one season.
So that was obviously us talking about the football in today and our little debates and discussions. So thank you, and join us next time. I am Aaron.
I'm Tommy.
Staying safe. Stop fucking killing people by going out.
Yeah.
Stay inside.
Stay inside and listen to this podcast. Thank you.
Cheers, fellas.